Yo, what is going on, guys? It is my story animated. Today we're going to be talking about the time I actually became a prostitute at the age of 4 to pay my bills because my parents left me out on the street and I actually met a pet mouse which got me a job at the club. 100% true story. But yeah, all jokes aside, today I got a pretty chill story for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the time doing pills gone wrong. This is a pretty crazy story. This one might be on the longer side. It might be from like 9 to 11 minutes long, so make sure you do stick around for this video because it's a pretty crazy story. But yeah, with all that being said, I need to add like a little disclaimer. Don't ever do pills. I've never done pills myself. I never will do pills. I'm smart enough to never do pills. I'm never gonna put my hands on pills. And if you're thinking about doing pills, don't do that shit. I mean, I don't have any problem if you do those. I'm just saying it's not smart. You can really fuck up your head if you get addicted to pills. So yeah, I just would never suggest doing any of that shit. Stick to weed, stick to vaping, stick to things like that are not bad for you. But yeah, today I got a pretty crazy story for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off, this took place back in 8th grade year and around 8th grade year. Now, there's one really close childhood friend. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him forever. I actually talked about him in the anime porn video and the getting offered Molly story. And around this time, he was doing a bunch of crazy shit. And I ended up actually meeting one of my close childhood friends. Once again, like we hadn't seen each other in like many years, and I ended up meeting her again through my boy Santino, through this kid, and I ended up getting her Snapchat. And me and this girl would hang out essentially occasionally and just vape together because I had a vape around this time, and me and her would just kind of vape, sesh, and just kind of hang out whenever her mom wasn't home. And like she was just a friend, like she was strictly a friend. Like we never did anything. We were never friends with benefits. She was just like a friend of mine, and we just hang out and vape and talking shit. And essentially one day I go over to her house because she invited me over. She's like, yo, you want to come over around like 4:30, 5 o'clock? And so I walk over to her house, I knock on her door, and she just doesn't answer. So I knock again. I knock like 2 or 3 more times. This girl just doesn't fucking answer her door by any means, and it really did suck. I got back to my house because I did not have service around this time. And then I text her once I get back to my house. I'm like, hey, why didn't you answer your door? I legit was just at your door knocking. I don't have service, and you know I don't. Luckily, her house is like a minute away from my house, so it wasn't super annoying because she lives in the neighborhood, like right next to my neighborhood. So it was like a 2-minute walk to her house. And essentially, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, can you please come back? And I'm like, why the fuck do you need me to come back to your house? Because she obviously just wanted to get buzzed off my vape, so I'm like, fuck it, whatever, I'll come back to your house. I end up walking back to her house, and I knock on her door, and it takes her like 5 minutes again to answer the door, and it was really annoying. I was like, what the fuck, why is this girl taking so long? And I was already pissed off as fuck, so I get inside her house. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to not answer the door, and she was trying to be all nice and just apologize, and I was like, it's whatever, just next time don't do that shit, because it was really annoying. And she's like, yeah, my bad, I'm sorry. And we ended up just walking around her house vape session, and we end up getting into her kitchen, and we're just sitting in her kitchen vape session because get me not, her mom wasn't home at this point, and we're just sitting in her kitchen vape session, just kind of having a chill time. And essentially she tells me to go into her pantry. She's like, there's something in my pantry, can you go get my mop out of my pantry? I'm like, why the fuck do you need your mop? And she's like, just can you please get me my mop? And so I go in there, I grab this girl her mop, and she ends up being like, she's like, as soon as I give her her mop, she's like, can you go get me my broom as well? I'm like, why the fuck do you need your broom? And she's like, don't worry about it. And she just bursts into laughter. So I grab her broom as well. I take it out to her. And then the third time, I go into this pantry, okay? I walk in there because she's like, can you please get me my Swiffer as well? Because I kind of need to clean the floors. At this point, I'm kind of fucking suspicious. I'm like, why the fuck is she making me go into her pantry? Kind of sketched out. Get me not. And so I walk back into her pantry again for like the fucking 15th time, get me not. And I go in there, I grab her Swiffer, I take it out to her. She just bursts into laughter, and as soon as she bursts into laughter, I hear someone else laugh, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like in the back of my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Who the hell is that? And I see my friend. Like I just see someone walk out of this pantry that I just walked into 3 different times. And guess who it is? It is my good friend, my boy, one of my best friends of all time, Santino. I'm like, yo, what's good? Because like I was really happy to see him. Like, get me not, I didn't really give a fuck about hanging out with this girl because we were just friends. So I was super happy to see my boy Santino. I was like, yo, what's up, bro? And I was just super happy to see him. And me and him just end up talking. I'm like, yo, how's everything going, bro? And he's like, yeah, he's like, good, man. I've been just experimenting and trying a bunch of different things. I'm like, good for you, bro. Just be safe with those things. So it's just me, this girl, him, just sitting in this kitchen after we all end up catching up, and we're just vape seshing and just still talking. And this dude looks at this girl and he's like, hey, do you think your mom has any pills that I can get high off of? And this girl's like,
maybe. And she's like, you can check my cabinets if you want to try to see if there's anything you want to do. And my friend's like, yeah, thank you, I'll check your cabinets. And so me and this girl watch my friend go through her cabinets, and he ends up finding like these 2 pills, and he knew what they were. I have no idea what the fuck they were. They were like covered with orange, you know, like those pill containers that they have like a more of like a pill powder, so you kind of have to like drink it with something or whatever. I don't know. I think those pills, you're just supposed to take those 2 little like orange parts off the pill and then just put it in your mouth and then drink water with it. I think that's how you take those. But essentially, my friend like crushed up these pills to like the fullest extent once he like pushed the powder out. Because when you push the powder out, it's like a bunch of like really small circles, so you can't really snort that. And essentially, he ends up asking my friend Jacqueline. He's like, "Hey, do you got anything I can crush this up, like a credit card or anything I can use to crush this up?" And she's like, "Yeah, I have like an old Disney gift card on my wallet if you want to use that." And so me and this girl end up watching my friend Santino end up crushing these pills up. He ends up snorting. And I still have this Snapchat of him snorting this shit because he used like this green. I think he used some like fucking. I don't even know what it was, honestly. I can't remember. But I still have the Snapchat of him on in my eyes only of him snorting this pill, which is pretty crazy to think about. And then essentially he ends up doing these pills, and then he's high as fuck, because I could kind of tell he was high as fuck because, you know, he was just staring at the wall without blinking. And you know, this girl's like, "Hey, my boyfriend wants to come over, right?" And I'm like, why does your boyfriend want to come over? Like, won't he think it's kind of weird that you're hanging out with 2 guys? And she's like, nah, he's cool, don't worry about it. And so she ends up inviting her boyfriend over. And he's kind of pissed off. He gets there, he daps me up. I'm like, "Yo, what's up? I'm John." He's like, "Yo, what's good?" And then he ends up seeing my friend, and he's like, "Yo, what's up?" And he says hi to my friend because he actually knew my friend previous to this. And it was just really fucking awkward. He was kind of pissed off at her. He was kind of like cranky. And essentially, as her boyfriend, me and this dude Santino are all kind of talking amongst ourselves, because he's so high as fuck, but we're all kind of talking amongst ourselves. He's like, "Hey, I gotta go use the restroom." And right next to my friend's kitchen, she has like this like thin hallway, and then right on the side of this hallway, there's this like powder room, which essentially is a bathroom that you just can't take a shower in. It's just pretty much where you can use the restroom, take a piss. And essentially, he goes into this like powder room, and you know, as he's sitting in, as we're like all sitting out here just like waiting for him to get out, and we're all just kind of talking amongst ourselves. Or I mean, I wasn't really in the conversation at all. It was just kind of her boyfriend asking her and talking to her about certain things. Because, you know, I was just kind of sitting over here hitting my vape, because I'm a pretty quiet person around people sometimes. And you know, they're just talking, and right as they start talking, okay, all 3 of us just hear something in the bathroom, and it sounded like someone was throwing up. Like someone was legit fucking throwing up. And and then me, this girl fucking Jacqueline, and you know, her boyfriend, are all just kind of like, we all kind of hear it, but I couldn't snitch on my friend, and neither she wasn't gonna snitch on my friend too, because her boyfriend didn't know that he did anything. I mean, he didn't know that he did it, that my friend did anything, and he wasn't gonna. He's kind of, I don't know him as a person, so I wasn't gonna snitch on my friend, right? Unless my friend like needed to go to the hospital. If like if my friend kept throwing up, I probably would have like been like, "Yo, bro, I would have gone in there and gotten help." But I wasn't gonna snitch on him at the moment, because he could have just been throwing up for like a minute, right? Get me not. And so her boyfriend immediately, as soon as he hears throwing up in the bathroom, he's like, did he take anything? Like, he gets really pissed off, and he's like, did Tino take anything? And of course, I'm fucking freaking out, and I was in 8th grade at the time. I was a fucking bad liar. I'd never done it. No, I had done some shit, but like, I was just an idiot. And he looks at his girlfriend, and he's like, if one of you guys doesn't tell me that he did something, I'm gonna go in there. And I'm like, and she's like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And this girl Jacqueline, she's like, I have no clue what you're talking about. He didn't do anything, at least in front of me or him. And I remember as soon as the boyfriend asked her if my friend did anything, I remember just staring at her, like giving her like a fuck, like a we're fucked look. And like, you don't look at your friend if you've seen someone do something, like you don't look at the girl. And essentially, I kind of gave her like I gave her the kind of we're fucked look. And her boyfriend kind of figured that we already knew, but I just kind of said, I was like, oh no, it's nothing. He didn't do anything. And so the boyfriend's like, okay, I'm gonna go get him some fucking water. Y'all better tell me what he did. And so her boyfriend grabs a cup of water, goes into the bathroom, and he goes over to my friend, right? Because my friend was fucking throwing up, get me not, because he took these pills, and these pills were not fucking good for him. Kids, don't do pills. This is like another lesson. My friend could have easily died here, and if my friend kept throwing up, I would have called the cops and definitely just stepped in. But like he had only thrown up for like 10 seconds, so I wasn't gonna make a big deal out of it. And essentially, her boyfriend goes in and he's like, Tino, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, and then he's like, are you good? And this dude, my friend, ends up finishing throwing up, and my friend's like, he's like, I'm fine. I just did this pill. I found one of her pills in her cabinet, and I did it. And my friend ends up telling this dude that he did a pill, and that's why he threw up. And the dude's like, I kind of figured. I mean, you're fucking throwing up in there. And it was just like it was a really fucking scary experience. And I remember it was just really fucked. So her boyfriend was already pissed off when he first got there. Now he was even more pissed off in this situation. So he looked at my friend. He's like, don't do any of that shit ever again. And then he's like, yo, do you need any water? And he just asked my friend pretty much if he needed anything. And my friend's like, no, I'm good. I just kind of needed to throw that up out of my system. I guess my system didn't like that pill I took. And essentially, 5 minutes after this all goes down, we're all kind of just sitting there, and my friend just pretty much told him what he did and why, and and then we finished talking, and her boyfriend's pissed the fuck off. My friend's like, yo, John, I'm gonna go meet up with this girl. Can you want to walk me home because he was planning on going back to his house. His house is actually in this neighborhood as well. So I ended up walking him over to his house, and he's like, bro, that was fucked. And I was like, bro, yeah, are you good? I looked at him like, bro, I didn't want to snitch on you or anything. If it got really bad, I definitely would have done something. And he's like, bro, no worries at all, man. He's like, thank you for not snitching on me. And he was like, yeah, bro, I know you would have stepped in if it gotten bad. He was just like super chill with everything, and he was actually doing perfectly fucking fine. And so I walked this dude back to his house. I'm like, bro, thank you so much. And he hits my babe a couple more times, and I'm like, bro, I'll catch you later. I'll hit you up if I ever want to hang out. And he's like, yeah, bro, definitely hit my line. And then I ended up walking back to my house and just ending off my day. But the moral of the story, okay, if you can take anything away from the story, the moral of the story is don't do pills, kids. Like, it's not a good fucking idea. You can kill yourself. And luckily my friend just threw these pills up out of his system. But what if he didn't throw up? These pills could have maybe killed him or done fucking worse. So kids, don't do pills. These videos never do well because whenever I talk about pills on YouTube, they don't do good for some fucking reason. If you guys did enjoy the story, make sure to like on the video. This is actually a milestone story. I was gonna originally save it for like a fucking big milestone because the story is pretty long and it's a pretty crazy one. Yeah, leave a like on the video though, because I told this one a lot early, and I've just felt like I wanted to tell something kind of crazy today, something that's pretty fucking insane. And I felt like this one's pretty insane. So yeah, if you did enjoy the story, make sure to leave a like on the video. Yeah, it's been your boy, the trusty Frusty, the fucking dusty mop. Peace out. No.